Hello, everybody, and welcome to another scene for the living world of darkness. Today's scene is a mixed venue scene set at the concert of one Alice Amari. It's still early yet. The crowds are slowly filling in. It's roughly this setup with the stadium open, the area right in front of the stage left without chairs so that people can crowd or, jump around enthusiastically to music without bumping their shins on the chairs in front of them. So let's go ahead and see what everybody is up to. And because... No, I'm going to start from the other end.
No, go ahead. Do it. I'm waiting.
I guess it's Charles. Let's go with Charles here.
Come on in, Charles.
So, this isn't Charles's first time going to a concert. This is Carrar's first time going to a concert, but Charles has gone to a concert, at least in his college years and stuff like that. So, going through the Rolodex of memories, kind of knowing sort of what to expect. Even though the other bands were definitely a little more hard rock in here, he's not quite sure exactly what to expect out of Amari's concerts. He's definitely looked at the YouTubes, but that's another story. It's a metaphor, Christy. Anyway. But that doesn't mean he's still not a little off put, because of course there's people who are dressing up in bright costumes, wigs and stuff like that for this particular thing. He's not quite sure if he's actually dressed right for this kind of a venue. And not to mention, people have been offering him like Pocky and stuff like that, and he's got like 3 boxes now, and he's not quite sure exactly how he's got them or what he's supposed to do with them. So, but for right now, he's just sort of like watching the spectacle of all these like people in in cosplay or different sort of attires and stuff like that. Some, of course, are wearing the band T-shirts and stuff. So right now, it's more of an interesting sort of observation of the place around him, wondering where it's going to go.
Are all the tickets that the changelings were given in the same area?
Yes, for the sake of ability to run into each other. Yes, you are in the pit area. So,
okay, then assuming Robbie is there and ready to go, apparently Misha's bringing along a friend to use her extra ticket.
So, the only way I can possibly imagine this having worked is Nausicaa was in her office, doing jobby things, probably in some deep coding binge. And she got a knock at the door, and Misha came in and asked her if she wanted to go to a concert tonight. Nausicaa just said, yeah, sure, whatever. Waved her away. And it was only a few hours later when she realized what she's done, and now she feels a social obligation to come along and is clearly, openly not happy about it. This is loud noises and people, which are 2 of Lord's least favorite things. But she will have come along, and she'll look kind of grumpy. Yeah, for her appearance, she's quite short, shaved head, and she has the graceless flaw, which means she essentially has -2 appearance for first impressions. She's just a bit kind of awkward. And
yeah. And meanwhile, Misha is observing her, because that is the whole reason why she invited her. This is going to be an awkward moment, and she thinks that this might be amusing. But that isn't why she's actually here. She's actually curious as to why Alice did invite her. Not that it was specially done, but she could have excluded her, and she didn't. So we're going to see. But yeah, Misha is not dressed up in any of that, like wigs and all that crap. She is dressed normally, like she's wearing flip-flops, like a pair of shorts and a tank top. And she's just kind of looking to Nausicaa and looks at their tickets, and she's like, I think we're over there. As she points vaguely in the direction of Charles, who she doesn't see yet.
Are you sure our seats on further away from the... And she looks towards the stage, unsure what to call it. area?
I mean, she probably gave us good seats. It's someone I know pretty well.
Nausicaa looks like she probably thinks the good seats are at the back, but she'll kind of begrudgingly come along. And yeah, just walk over with Misha.
And if there are Pocky sticks, yeah, Misha's totally getting some. And she will hand some to Nausicaa, because that's what you do, I guess.
She handed her what, sorry?
Pocky sticks?
Hockey sticks?
Pocky. It's
I have
like
no idea.
long sticks of like sort of cookie, isn't it? Isn't that the best way to describe it?
Yeah, it's like little like think very thin breadsticks dipped with like chocolate or strawberries frosting or stuff like that.
Oh, no, I don't know.
Yeah,
If it's sugary, Nausicaa's happy.
yeah,
Link provided.
yeah. She totally, like, Misha's sitting there munching on them as she walks too, because she likes Pocky. And yeah, and she's just kind of looking, and as she gets closer, she of course sees Charles,
who of course is holding open his fourth box of Pocky that has been like shoved onto him by people, and for some reason they're handing this shit out like free, and he's just taking them, and he's finally opened up one of these boxes, and he's like observing it like almost suspiciously, before finally like putting his mouth around it and.
Yeah, and she's going to move it next to Charles's ear, like, trying to be quiet about it, but it's loud, so it's not hard to do.
Mm.
And she'll just be like, "You've eaten worse things, Charles."
And he says, says as he finally manages to swallow it. Misha, good to see you. Sorry, I just, I wasn't sure what Pocky was until they started shoving it onto me.
Oh, well, enjoy. And she will look to Anna, because that's how this character knows you, and she'll just be like, "Anna, this is Charles. Charles, Anna."
Anna, pleasure to meet you, he says, and he smiles. And just as a note, because it's part of the flaw of the murderous main is there's a +1 to his social difficulty of being charming, is that it's just something about him just seems off. Like his smile just seems a bit too sharp as he just holds out his hand to shake.
Oscar just looks at the hand and looks at him and is just going to turn away.
I see you keep yourself in good company.
I do, actually. As she looks to Anna, and she'll just be like, "Let's go find our seats. I think there may be a couple down from him."
Well, he says as he's like looking at the venue here, because it's the pit, so there's not really a lot in seats here. Well, I will let you get back to your seating. I'm probably going to be standing for the majority of this entire endeavor, he says as he's looking at his tickets, making sure for sure that's like it says the pit right on there.
Well, I mean, if it is like that, then I mean, I don't know if I thought that maybe we actually had specific seats. If we don't, then she's just gonna kind of find herself a spot and sit on the ground waiting, because she's not worried about it.
Is he a friend of yours?
Acquaintance at best.
Is he a Nausicaa squints friend of yours?
I would prefer not to have that discussion.
Oscar shrugs.
But either way, I got your back should that be a situation.
Oscar raises an eyebrow.
She just looks at her like, yeah. Like, she's like, "I invited you here, And she's just sort of shrugging. He is a big pain in the ass, but trustworthy to a point.
She just kind of shrugs, and she'll reach into her breast pocket and pull out a can of illegal Chinese energy drink and have it with her lovely sugary pocky sticks.
Illegal brand Chinese energy drink for all your illegal Chinese energy needs. All right, Caldwell, enter the scene.
Yeah, Caldwell enters the scene and shuffles in Slua. He definitely looks like a stick in the mud here, wearing like more muted colors than everybody else. I imagine as he makes his way down the stairs, though, he's probably like looking at his ticket, and while he's also like coddling some like popcorn, like something to drink, and like this box of Pocky, he doesn't know what the hell it is. But as he goes down the stairs, like somebody kind of like bumps into him and he just spills the soda and the popcorn all over the place, and just pauses and like looks at this person and like tries to skitter away as soon as possible. He doesn't seem to be too comfortable here. Like he definitely looks like he is out of his element. Um, a little wide-eyed. Everything is like a little too bright for him. Probably a little too loud as well. But he tries to push through. He's trying to be there for his friend. So he will make his way to the spot where everybody else is at. But he won't say anything. As soon as he gets there, he kind of just lingers for a moment.
He gets a wave from Misha.
And with the wave, he'll feel a little bit more comfortable with approaching. Looking at his ticket, and apparently it's right here. So funny that. And yeah, he just says, and he probably has to get in close. I don't know if it's in full swing right now, but either way, the din's probably pretty loud just with people talking. And he comes in close and just says, "I didn't expect you here."
What now? I'm sorry.
I didn't expect you to be here.
Me neither, but things are weird, and I thought, why not?
Definitely weird, considering the situation between you two.
What do you know about it?
Not much. I just know there's some underlying tensions.
She must be talking. Interesting.
Not as much as you would think. She's very guarded for most of that. And I haven't actually exactly pried.
Right. Caldwell, this is Anna. Anna Caldwell.
Caldwell looks at Anna and just looks at the ground immediately.
He looks over, and she just kind of scowls at him. We've met before.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, okay, cool. Misha looks completely satisfied because she has done what she has to do.
Bare minimum. Good job, Misha. You did it.
And he just says, "You haven't had any more pseudo cokes better than what you've had at my shop, have you?"
No, I didn't think I liked tea until I tried the stuff you served. Although I had to add some sugar to it.
And he kind of just tilts his head a little bit and just makes the appropriate mind edits and files it away. Okay. The next time you come back, I promise you it'll be perfect.
She again kind of squints at him, seeing if he's she's just not really sure of what he's about. So she won't really say anything. She'll just kind of sit there, arms crossed, grumpily, like an angry child.
And he just kind of smiles lightly. and just continues to look around. He sees Charles and just gives him like a very lazy like wave, because I'm assuming he's like 3 or 4 seats over.
Yeah, but probably like more rows of people because I don't think there's any official seating in the pit area. But yeah, he's currently like engaged with like this like these people who are like talking about like because he had the audacity to ask about their attire here of what it is, and they're explaining to him about cosplay, and they're getting into it, and he's beginning to realize he has like no interest in this conversation. And there's almost like that there's that smile, being very placid as he's just sort of absorbing, like letting it whatever the information wash over him. But it's very clear that he is just like he is not entertaining anything they're saying. As a matter of fact, part of him's thinking about how easy it would be just to do something, just to say the right thing to set them off before the lazy halfway catches his attention from from Silas, and he noses and excuse me, I just realized I noticed someone I know. Thank you very much for your explanation. It's very interesting, he says as he walks off, still smiling too wide before he approaches Caldwell. Caldwell, good to see you today. I am glad to see so many familiar faces appearing here. I was worried I was just going to be alone in this.
I had the same fear as well. I wasn't planning on seeing very many familiar faces, but it's a good thing. I think it'll allow me to be a little bit more comfortable here. After all, I'm really here for the research. Do you know what kind of music's going to be playing? Because I have no idea.
Supposedly it's J-pop is what is at least the general consensus I've been getting, or at least that's one of the things people have been saying. He says he's sort of like looking around at the people around them.
Misha just looks at them and she's like, "Oh my god, you guys didn't even like look at like a YouTube video?"
Sometimes you need an experience that's fresh.
So by how many degrees of separation is this away from like Victorian music?
About 1,000.
Oh, sweet Jesus. Okay. I should have known with all the neon and baby colors.
I think the costuming was what tipped me off. He says as he's looking at probably a few Sailor Moon inspired outfits wandering around.
She once did a small concert at my shop.
Did she?
So,
Was it good?
If you like that kind of music, yeah, she is actually pretty good.
Well, this will be a first. So, but I'm like I said, just doing research, and I'm here for her.
Research in what?
He just kind of deigns a smile, like, there's a project we're taking on, and I needed some more information. I can tell you about it later.
Oh, okay, cool.
But a lot of it deals with, like, a lot of these people are addressed here, apparently.
Does this have to do with something Puck may or may not have said?
He kind of just tilts his head in question. Maybe. Who knows? Probably.
She nods. So eat a pocky stick. If you're going for the experience, man, have the experience. And she's gonna pull it out and chow down.
Yeah,
suck on it till it's soggy.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like, he reaches into his, well, he doesn't have it in his pocket, but he has like this little box of like green tea ones, and he pulls it out and just kind of looks at it, smells it, and just puts it in his mouth and just sucks on it until it just breaks off from it being so soggy. And he's just like, this is fun. This is good.
This is normal.
Is he eating them quite slowly?
Yeah.
Nausicaa has chowed hers down. And she's eagerly looking around for the one thing she's enjoying right now, which is more sugar.
Yeah.
Right.
Charles.
Oh, I was going to say it. I would like to do, do stuff with Alice too. But
Okay. Yeah. Please. If you need to shift on over to her, feel free to do so.
Of course.
Just for a moment. Backstage before the concert starts, Alice, you run into your opening act. It is a trio, presumably female, though there is some question about the front she.
They're elves. Does it really matter?
Well, I guess not. Pedantic. But like the guitarist, a satyr named Moxie, is knocking on your dressing room door.
Alice will open the door and smile at them. She's currently getting ready for her first act, but is still in her normal attire. Moxie.
Hey. So we're about to get ready for the to go on stage here in like I think it's like 15, and we've got a playlist of about 3 songs since we're just an opening act, and we were wondering how jazz do you want this group?
As jazz means like good, right?
Yeah, like enthusiastic. We're pretty good at getting the crowd riled up, and we just want to make sure that you're okay with that, or
No, that's perfect. That's perfect. I mean, my first act is going to be Stars Align, so we're going to be doing some J-pop rock. So that's perfect.
All right. Okay, that sounds great. I'll let Kai know. By any chance, have you seen Lola anywhere?
No, I was getting ready. Is there a problem?
Oh, I'm sure she'll just like right before the show, but we needed to get ready for some stuff, and she was Lola. She gets a little worked up easily, so we just want to make sure she hasn't like scurried into a hole somewhere.
No, that's fine. That's fine. If you want, I can help you look for
her. Yeah, that would be fantastic, actually, if you don't mind. I know you're getting ready, but yeah.
She looks back over her shoulder at the costume, looks back. There is not much to put on, so sure.
That sounds great. And so she like heads back towards like the dressing rooms where they last saw Lola, where Kai is waiting. And Kai just kind of gives like a sultry look in the direction of Alice. She's like, "Oh, hello, Miss Amari. How are you doing today?"
I'm doing wonderful. And yourself?
Feeling positively feminine today. Who's to say tomorrow, though? So, the little mouseling seems to have scurried off.
Was everything okay?
She's an emotional one. You know how the Puka are.
Honest, straightforward, and wise?
Oh, you've learned their lingo. How charming, Baroness. And she like does like the sweeping, very like theatrical bow as she says Baroness. But yes, unfortunately the poor dear got a little wound up during final checks and discussion of our performance numbers that we decided to go with. And you know how it is with the puka. You turn your back for 1 minute and they're off scampering.
You know, that reputation could apply equally well to my kith, disappearing in the twinkle.
Yes, but you have more finesse. You're not exactly woodland.
You know, I've never seen a wood in my entire life.
I have nothing to say to that. She says as she like furrows her brow.
So I'm not quite sure what to make of your comment, but yeah, let's go looking.
Yes. And so yeah, you can split off with one of them, but they're going in separate directions. If you want to go with one or
yeah, she's going off on her own, just like since everyone else is going off separate directions to cover more ground. Would it be a perception plus scanning?
Yes.
It doesn't look good for her finding one.
Okay. Do a perception alertness roll then. If you can't find her with magic, use your eyes.
Use the normal 5 senses, not the 6th one.
All right, rolling my recently increased dice pool.
Much better. As you're looking around, you notice like a small hole, a small mouse-sized hole, and you've met Lola during practices. You know what her affinity is.
Lola, are you in there? Tap tap.
You hear kind of a little squeak from the hole. His two beady little eyes stare at you from inside it.
Your friends are looking for you.
A squeak, and then it backs in further to the hole.
What's wrong?
More squeaking, because still an animal affinity. But it has like a pause in its little monologue. And if a mouse could sigh, it sighs. Then scurries out behind like a rack of clothing. And a moment later, Lola steps out. Oh, hi, Alice. Nothing's wrong.
You sure? I mean, you were literally hiding in a hole.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. That's actually how I that's how I get pumped before a show. You know.
Is it really how you get pumped before a show?
Yeah, definitely. Nothing gets me more jazzed than, feeling my my animal instincts kick in.
I was friends with a puka.
Cool.
And she had some good advice for me.
What was that?
One, I probably should stop getting people to point guns at me, and two, it would be a really good idea to face whatever, is bothering you. Unless it's a gun to the face.
Oh, well, I don't think it was that. Anything so, no guns to the face. but nothing's really bothering me. I'm just little pre-stage jitters. This is our biggest gig.
There's nothing to worry about. I mean, I've seen you guys perform. You're wonderful.
You're too kind. You're too kind. It's just, Moxie and Kai, they're so much better suited for this, and having all these eyes on us is just a little nerve-wracking, and they really know how to work an audience, and there's a reason I'm behind everybody on the drums.
Because you're good with drums?
Yeah.
So what's to worry about? Well, let me guess, blowing it?
I just really don't want to disappoint Kai and Moxie is all.
I don't think you will. I mean, I have incredible confidence in all of you.
Well, that's one of us then. And she's like doing that nervous laughter. Kai turns the corner. Oh, there you are, Mouseling. I was worried about you. And she does that finger under the chin thing. You shouldn't run off like that. And she just kind of gives her she doesn't say anything. She just does the slow mouse blink. And she's like, now, be a good girl and get into your costume before we go on stage. We have an audience to wow. We're gonna knock 'em dead, kiddo. And Lola just gives a nod. She turns to Alice. Thanks for the pep talk. I really look forward to seeing your show.
I look forward to seeing yours. Oh, here, take this. She'll say, pulling a hair ribbon out of her hair and letting her hair fall free before handing it over. For luck.
Oh, thank you. And she takes the ribbon, holds it up kind of in that awkward look. I have it. Luck is great. And break a leg.
That just might happen. Trust me, I'm just as nervous.
Oh, I'm sure. And Kai just wraps an arm around her shoulder. Enough bugging the talent, dear. Let's go. And she gives a wave as she turns Moxie away from Alice and back towards their shared dressing room.
In that case, Alice will start walking back towards hers.
And back to the stadium.
Where we are on the search for more sugar.
Well, the crowd has really started to fill in. The lights are starting to slowly dim. Music is being piped through the auditorium speakers. It's not live music yet, but it's other artists of similar slant who may or may not be coming to the venue in weeks coming, kind of thing. But yeah, the show is obviously going to start in a few minutes. So any last things you want to do before the music starts? This is the time. But yeah, the crowd in the pit is pressing you all pretty closely together. There are various other changelings from around the county who are there. And it's a pretty decent turnout because, charity. Everybody's really freaked out over what's happening in Staten.
Mm-hmm.
Give Charles a naughty wink as we're shoved together.
Yep, and Charles just sort of smiles as he sort of gazes at the other people he's surrounded with, because it's more of these bodies who are more than likely half his physical body's age. and in his Fey age, mere specks in eternity.
God damn it, Charles.
But it's this, oh yeah, this is going to be great, because he's now having memories of oh, when you're in the pit, there's moshing as he's remembering this, and he's wondering if this is going to be the exact kind of concert this is going to be.
What? Anyone else?
Just that I sent you a PM about what Alice has set up for as soon as the opening act comes out.
Okay. Yeah, I don't mind you describing that. Okay. All right. So the music, or the music fades that's being piped in. The lights on the stage go up, and the crowd starts to cheer with anticipation of the acts finally starting. And Matthew, I'll turn this over to you now.
No expense has been spared for special effects, lighting. The sound systems are all thrumming after their tests, and before the curtain rises, around everyone in the stadium, kind of floating up, but only to those who can see into the dreaming, happens to be these multicolored lights that are strobing softly. It's a very dim effect at first, but as they rise up, you can see these flicker flies flitting about everyone, floating around some people's heads, glowing more brightly around certain individuals who seem to be in a more joyous, ecstatic state. They're dancing everywhere, and as the music from the opening band revs up, they begin to pulse in time with the music. Their light ebbing and flowing, and you can almost feel them more than you're seeing them, like the sound flowing through you and then passing away.
The opening act steps out into the spotlight. They, for Nausicaa first, they appear to have very, very elaborate fantasy costumes on, with the exception of the drummer, who has really only committed to wearing a pair of like paper mouse ears. But the prosthetics on these performers are amazing. Long tapered ears on a very graceful physique on the front woman, and like goat leg costumes. You imagine it must be very painful to walk on whatever apparatus they're currently using to make their legs look so bent. Ram horns jutting out of their forehead, and a wild look in their eyes as the guitarist and front woman take their place in front of microphones, and the little mouse-eared drummer behind her drum set. Everyone else roll. Well, you don't actually have to roll. What you're seeing is a duo of changelings who have invoked the weird, and a third, a mouse puka, who is wearing a set of paper ears.
Oh. Noting that for the Ashit stuff.
And even more so, the fact that we recognize this band.
Yes, this is Wild Dreams of Autumn.
Oh God, Misha's going, oh crap, she knows what they're going to do.
Orgies for everyone. Anyway.
I mean, kinda.
The crowd kind of hushes, or at least the mortal crowd falls to a hush as Kai moves to the microphone and speaks. Hello, darlings. We are Wild Dreams of Autumn, and we are here to entertain you. And they are a neo-punk glam rock band, if I remember all of the adjectives I used to describe them. And they start out with a song called Search for Your Echo. It is kind of sparkly punk, the best I can use to describe it. But it's not a song about, echoes as in like your voice bouncing back to you, but rather the mythological echo. This woman who is so obsessed with Narcissus that she was eventually reduced to nothing but her voice. And it's a song very much glamorizing finding somebody who is obsessed with you enough to waste away. And the song kind of dies down, and the crowd, while listening to it, again, the mortals, were very enthusiastic and, kind of not so much moshing, but jumping up and down to the rhythm. But the music stops, and like creatures possessed, they all stop as soon as the last note fades. Moxie steps forward. We've been working on this song for a while, and we're glad to finally share it with you here for the first time today. This song is called Troubles Her Way. And everybody go ahead and roll me a willpower roll, difficulty. Well, it's a base difficulty of 8. Those of you who have failed have a plus difficulty of 2, and apply any aversions to mind control or anything like that you may have available to you. But the base difficulty.
Yay, diff 10.
Yay, diff 8 for me.
Does this apply to people who are not out in the audience?
If you can hear the music, then yes.
Okay, then let me...
No successes. Oh boy.
It's straight willpower, right?
Just straight willpower. Diff 8, diff 10 for failed. But yeah.
Would the
Mine's a botch.
Oh
God. I mean, I'll let you decide how to play that out.
Well, you
One
can
success.
describe things and I will figure it out. Yeah.
Nausicaa's not having any of this shit.
She's done with this fuck stuff. What the fuck is everyone doing? I mean, how many successes is that? That's 1, 2, 3. No, that's 2 successes. So
Still, it's great that the socially awkward characters are just like, no, it's appropriate. Because what happens is you feel all of your inhibitions during this song vanish. You feel inclined to act upon your wildest desires, your hidden secret wants and urges.
In that case, I know exactly what she's doing.
Mm.
Misha is attempting to pickpocket the shit out of everybody.
Start rolling those larceny rolls.
Heck yeah, that's what she's trying to do.
I really wish I'd failed this roll now. That would have been hilarious.
Everyone around you, largely humans, are kind of either fighting each other because pit, or grinding on each other because...
Oh, God.
I realize I'm at diff 8 because of situation, but based on the fact that everybody else is distracted, would I be able to get a lower diff from the 8? As long as I picked out the people that are fighting or grinding?
I'm trying to think. I'll say standard difficulty.
Okay. I just thought it was a legit question.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, no, people who are distracted are easier marks.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right.
You're going to use it as a general for all of it?
Yeah, that's
okay.
what I'm trying to do. You managed to collect like a handful of wallets, loose change, ticket stubs, packs of cigarettes, drink vouchers, until your arms are full to the point where it's like if you pickpocket anymore, people are obviously going to notice.
Well, then she's going to go out and start getting some of the drink vouchers and getting drinks and bring one back to Nausicaa.
All right.
Charles, of course, is not as like fully in the throes of this, but his desires is different. His things, it's like his patience and everything for these people as he's looking around, and he's just sees his eye falls on one of the individuals, the one who was like going on about their costuming and this cosplay thing, and he's just staring at them for a long moment as they're sort of as they're sort of like, you know, they're having their own inhibition mess here, and he just sort of smiles and says, "Oh, what a sad sight! You look so beautiful, so bubbly, so poised, and yet everything that you wear just does not suit you," he says as he starts crumbling one of the pockies between his fingers. He's just letting the dust falls away from there, and it's just a nickname on them that not a good look.
Not a good look.
Oh no!
All right,
This is so mean.
I'll say that's a difficulty reduction of 2.
Okay, so diff. I guess then it's diff 8 then. So
Yeah.
and they're a normal person, so I am rolling 8 dice on that one. So diff 8. Sorry, one moment. No successes. Actually, that's a botch, but you know, there's no real botch rules for
Yeah.
for cantrips, luckily.
So yeah, like the magic fizzles, and it's aggravatingly disappointing.
Yeah, it is. Oh, it is. It's a matter of pride at this point.
And in front of another she.
Yeah, right.
Can this count as a revelry for me because people are fighting at the end of this entire session?
Yeah, at the end of the session we can do that.
Everybody was kung fu
Fighting.
Caldwell, your reactions to watching people getting all thrusty around you?
Caldwell, basically, just goes unnaturally like straight. His toes kind of curl like under his shoes. His hands just ball at his sides, and he clenches them so hard, like all his knuckles pop, and his skin just his pale skin just turns like a deep red or purple. And he just says, "Excuse me," and he just walks off. And he walks up towards, or I guess towards wherever the exit would be, and he tries to find like the deepest, darkest corner here he can.
Well, I mean, you could probably find deep, dark, and rather sticky corners underneath the bleachers.
Oh yeah, okay. He'll go there.
Oh, you know what's
will.
happening under the bleachers, right?
Well, he will close his eyes.
As you step over people who have also sought privacy in the sticky bleachers, past them.
And he will try to look out, you know, through the bleachers, through the people's feet, like every so often, like some kind of creeper. Maybe if they drop anything, he'll try to pick it up to read it, especially if it looks like some kind of pertinent information about them.
You'll see like the occasional abandoned more drink vouchers, pamphlets, like little Alice Amari like trinkets, you know, like shirts or because they're being flung about.
Yeah, he'll collect those and start stuffing them into his sweater.
Just shoving souvenir shirts. Alice Amari doesn't.
That's totally going to be the next thing I use for when I do healing. It's going to be a whole bunch of Alice t-shirts.
Eventually the song comes to an end, and again, like people enchanted, everyone just stops what they're doing as their inhibitions return. That feeling of devil may care ebbs away. The gift of Pan ended from Moxie.
Misha quickly drops whatever wallet she has into like her bag, and tries and ends up, oh crap.
Charles doesn't stop staring at the individual, however. Even though the inhibitions is gone now he's looking at this individual, and it's just like, that this is a stubborn one, and he is not going to be put out, but he's going to wait. He's going to bide his time this time.
Called
Kai, Kai returns to her microphone. This is our last number of the evening, and the humans kind of groan in disappointment. But we're going to bring you down just a little before the main act brings you to ecstasy. This song is called Darling, Nobody Knows. And it is a much slower song, very different from the general genre of the other songs that they play. And as they're singing, Kai actually walks off the side of the stage and into the pit. And as she's singing, she gently strokes the cheeks of various concert goers who start following her in kind of a almost a conga line of devotees, one another. She passes very close by the players here as she plucks a human that is standing next to Charles. You will do nicely. Look at your eyes. So blue, baby. I'd love to keep them in my collection. And she
She's not at all creepy.
She is Arcadian.
A kindred spirit.
Do you say that?
Oh, there's a slight mutter of that.
Kai kind of just gives like a mischievous grin, still singing her song, working the invitations to follow her within the lyrics until she walks back to the stage with this collection of about 6 young men and women, all of whom are the creme de la creme of the audience. They are gorgeous. And she just gives them all a smile. And the song ends, but they stay on stage, absolutely enthralled by Kai. And as the last note fades, she says, "We've been Wild Dreams of Autumn. CDs are available in the lobby." And they do a bow and head off the stage, and the lights go down.
Such a shame, isn't it? He's muttering to himself as he's looking back at that individual. Such a shame. They chose everyone else, everyone beautiful but you. How does it feel to know that you are unwanted?
Misa's just like, if she's anywhere near this, she's staring at him like, Jesus.
Yeah, well, sorry, I'm mad of pride here. So sorry, Carol.
And she has actually taken from one of her pockets a long, thin piece of metal that she's kind of holding in her hand up her jacket sleeve, and she looks like straight up like ready to fight. Like she just looks absolutely terrified by this whole event.
Yeah, so paying attention more to, he's not really paying attention to anyone else. He's focused on that one individual who's unwanted. I'm sorry. I know it's a really fucked up, cruel thing to do, but I'm going to try.
You're going to try it again?
Yeah.
Are you really sorry, though?
No. Well, I am. Charles isn't. Because at this point, you know what? Fuck this person. Sorry. So what's the difficulty on that one? Would it be a -1 or -2 on that one?
Did all you do is glare at her and say that?
Well, I did was I stared at them as that. It was referencing to the song and what happened in the situation. So up to you on that one.
I'll say -1 for that one. So you're
Yep.
you're diff 9, I think.
Diff 9. Yep, Diff 9. Let's see what happens. Might be as a glamour sink. Oh no! It's yeah, for one scene.
This person becomes
unwanted.
Yeah, like they're getting like pushed away from their group of friends who are in matching like cosplay accoutrement. And what?
Just a fucked up thing to do, Charles. Yes, it is. Yes, it is, Carol. Yes, it is.
Sorry, I read the side chat. I should not.
As you're laughing about this person being shoved out of their friend group, how fucking dare you, Carol?
How dare I, indeed. So, anyways, the lights go down, and then Alice's like dancers start making their way onto stage, and a spotlight comes up. And would you like to describe how you enter?
So, Alice comes down from a hidden section of the ceiling. She's currently being lowered on what appears to be a entire mecha cockpit, as if you were viewing the interior. The difference is it looks like a DJ's booth crossed over with it. She herself is sitting on top of one of the consoles, legs crossed with a very perilously short pleated skirt. The entire ensemble is black with glowing cerulean stripes and a couple of glow sticks attached to her attire in a similar set of colors. On her head is a glowing cerulean with black trim headset set up with the oversized microphone, and then her hair is done up into twin pigtails with little berets clipping them into place that look like black cat ears. And as she's coming down, before she gets in the scene, I would like to spend 1 glamour, 1 willpower, and roll my glamour against the ambient or my own banality, whichever is higher, to invoke the weird.
Join in the madness, huh?
Oh my god.
Well, this is what she likes to do, is make people's dreams real, and what is she but a living dream?
All right, go ahead.
Fucking people.
After all of the warm up, we're gonna put the difficulty at 6, especially since you already did that bunk and stuff like that. So the banality has gone down significantly in this place.
Wow, it's only banality 6. That's actually pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, 1, 2, ready, roll. 1 success. That's all you need. So she's coming down, and she is actually very, very real. There's something more to her. Her hair has touches of red to it. Her eyes twinkle like only those who are mistaken for leprechauns can be. There is almost a manic feeling around her, like a collector who just got a brand new piece of their collection they've been looking for months. And all of this is stacking on top of the fact that she is absolutely and utterly disturbingly fascinating as per bizarre quality. There is just something super fascinating about her. Can I also make an appearance plus performance roll to draw everyone's attention?
Most definitely.
All right. 9 dice. And would you say I'm capitalizing on people's joy?
Yeah, they're very stoked to see you because this is your concert.
What difficulty will you give me?
4.
Is that including the -1?
That's yeah, with the joy of the thing, yeah, everything.
All right. Activating. Ooh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 successes.
The glamour is just like vibrating within this place, by the way, at this point, with the invocation of the weird with multiple individuals, the flicker flies. Those of you who benefit from glamour feel just like the general pressure of the world kind of not so much release, but sort of lighten significantly. It is barely there. As Alice steps onto stage.
Misha sits up a little straighter.
Yep. Even Charles, who had his perverse pleasure out of crushing that individual for the rest of this fucking concert.
I'm so moved by by Vaughn's comment on the side. Caldwell loosens his collar.
Yeah, but even Charles is like, oh.
And with that, Alice picks up a microphone from where no one knows who's paying attention to anything other, flicks it on, and it starts glowing. And then at that exact moment, all the flicker flies switch to cerulean orbs and start pounding out with the bass beat of the song as she falls to the ground very delicately, somehow with hand in front of her, keeping the skirt in place, and begins singing her first song, Stars Align, which is a J-pop rock type song with a definite electronica undercurrent to it. Do I need a charisma plus performance roll?
If you would like. Yes,
all right.
That way.
See how well this song goes over.
Mm-hmm.
I have a specialty in singing, but with as few tens as keep coming up, we'll see. Oh, first 10.
So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 successes. Yeah, it is a pretty damn good song. 5 successes. Very good.
Very good.
As she's singing, she's bobbing her head to side with music, has a choreographed bit of dancing, most of it more sultry than anyone who knows her would have expected, and definitely more energized than people have seen her in a while. This is her element. She's finally somewhere where she feels, outside of the dreaming, where she feels at home.
I was going to say, Misha's definitely heard her sing before, so this is different than before?
Yes, definitely more passionate, definitely more out there with herself, her body, her movements. This is not the slip of a girl who used to not, who could barely understand any innuendo. This is one who is grasping almost like a literal Promethean flame in her soul.
Well, yeah, Caldwell actually stands on his toes a little bit, feeling like all the like glamour and stuff like going through his body and stuff. But he's also like studying you and your singing, and like in his head, he's like he's making sure like you don't like fail to like sing the note because he can just hear so well. And because he might want to say something to you about it later. But yeah, you just do so good. He just says, and then kind of like goes back to his normal demeanor.
Music is a language of its own, and not to say that he hasn't been enjoying the music or anything like that. Even the one where he's not quite sure exactly what his feelings were to really just go ahead and curse that poor mortal right then and there. But he still feels somewhat good about it. He actually feels really surprisingly good about it. But hearing the music flowing out now, it's amazing, this language, this communication that is flowing into everyone at this moment, this shared moment, this shared language of music that is embracing and enrapturing and raising people up granted, it's still, people are still bumping into him, which he's like, there should be more grace to this. There should be something more to this. But even Charles is caught up in the music.
The audience is absolutely ecstatic. This is who they wanted to see. Sure, there are people who bought the ticket out of curiosity. Oh, charity, good cause, but they definitely want to hear more of this now. As
Now.
the people in the cheap seats are like raising lighters, and the people in the pit are pressing closer to the stage. And I suppose you can go on to your next song if you would like.
The next one she's doing is going to be slightly darker. It's called Magica, and that is her. That was the only one she could get past her producers, which would just come close to her favorite genre of music. Just touching into a little bit of punkish heavy metal kind of instrumentals. And she once again, there's a short pause for a costume shift, but when she comes out, this time she kind of has a gothic Lolita look going on, with an outfit that definitely doesn't have a midriff. More exposed, but still highly energized. She even has a little top hat on, with a red ribbon running around it. And as she comes out, her just smile is wide, almost predatory at this point, just with the sheer amount of like passion she can feel, tasting it around her, the warrior spirit within her coming out. And she begins doing her song as the lights there, almost mimicking the flicker flies themselves, begin blazing all over the place, aiming in different directions, forming mystical occult symbols everywhere. The symbols forming into things that no one, unless you know about Greymare, probably wouldn't recognize directly, but drawing upon that mixed heavily with what she knows of Japanese Shintoism, just from her upbringing. And with that, can I make another roll?
Definitely.
Cool. She is blowing another 2 glamour to get another set of flicker flies up.
All right.
At this point, because for to a degree, she loves the joy, she loves the adulation, but she also is a wilder, and so she's trying to get a passionate sense of, I'm thinking, I was going to say energy, but the energy I'm thinking of is more lust.
Mhm.
Would that be appropriate?
Lust? You want to fill this throbbing pit of flesh with lust? Go for it.
Okay.
Oh boy.
It's okay because children don't exist.
Yes, everyone here is at least 18 years old.
Mhm.
All right.
They were very thorough at the front gate to make sure everyone's IDs checked out.
Mhm.
I'm assuming I don't have millions of people watching me, so I don't get a -4 difficulty. But it says being interviewed on the nightly local news would get you a -3. Would you say I'm about that level?
At least, plus all the ambient magic is lowering the banality of this place. So lowest diff for this.
Oh wow. Okay, so plus 1 for that. So that so 5 plus 1, so -4 total equals diff 4, because massive amounts of scene.
Mhm.
And oh boy, 1, 2, 3 cancel, so 3 becomes 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 successes again. So I mean, you only need 1, but
Yeah. This explosion of lights dances out from your cantrip, and just sort of like with almost in a mimic of the passion that it's about to invoke within the audience. It just sort of like the individual orbs sort of press themselves up against the chests of the audience, and I will let you various individuals describe how you suddenly feel now that you are feeling your magic induced lust. Is there a willpower roll to resist these, by the way? Those of you who use summer?
I don't.
There is not, because it's just a general AoE -1 difficulty when you're capitalizing on it.
Well, what it does is I think it gives you a feeling. It doesn't make you do anything, though,
Yeah.
because
Right.
that specifically is against rules.
Yeah, no, I would not force you, but you feel
Right.
Yeah.
And sorry, there were like magical orbs flying through the air.
There's a
for glamour.
new set. Yep.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Forming archaic. These Fickerfies look like arcane symbols just dancing amidst the strobe lights, the physical real world lights also doing the same.
Mm-hmm.
But unless I was using, for example, like Prime 1, I wouldn't be able to see it because it's
Right.
generic.
Yeah,
Okay.
totally.
That's cool. Yep, absolutely. So yeah, Nausicaa is just looking absolutely like angrily at Misha, dragging her to this horrible, awful Gomorrah-esque place.
Gomorrah-esque. Beautiful.
Yeah, she just looks absolutely like, what the hell is going on? And then looks behind her to this Charles fellow.
And Charles has
Be the worst of the
stopped.
worst. Okay.
Charles has just stopped moving. Like, he has absolutely stopped moving. He's not even like bobbing his head to the music or anything like that. And there's just this, like, you would swear he's smiling, except it looks more like he's gritting his teeth as he's feeling the feelings he's had, these biological responses that he always feels whenever he's around Amber. Whenever he's around her, Charles, this meat flesh, this meat suit he has to fucking wear all the time. This one little aspect of him that even though he's begun to understand, maybe in some degree appreciate a little more, this is the one thing that he just has this fucking disgusting feeling of. And he's like not moving. He is like perfectly stuck still. And he's like gritting his teeth. And it may be like about 30 seconds, he just doesn't move. And then he turns. And he starts to make his way out.
Fox yeah, just watching this in absolute terror. She just looked terrified. She doesn't know what the hell's going on. She's looking at Misha for guidance.
Wow. We found at a loss for words. Grace would want pictures. Yeah, Misha, for the record, is Nausicaa feeling that whole lust thing too? Or is it only on people who can see the orbs?
As per Summer, it's just like it doesn't make everyone necessarily lust so much as if you are how to put it, it's emotional ambience that you can draw upon for the -1 difficulty.
Okay, but that feeling is in the air if
yes.
Okay, so you do feel that. And Misha, for her part, is just kind of feels that, and she's just like, like she gets this look on her face like this is super awkward because she's not used to feeling like this. And she's gonna look at Nausicaa and be like, yeah, this might have been a bad choice. You want to go?
Yes.
And she's going to pretty much stand up and with her bag full of like wallets and shit, and start to leave with Nausicaa. Although she would have said Anna. She would have said Anna.
Does Silas look like he's also like needs rescuing?
Yeah. All the moving that Charles wasn't doing, Silas is definitely doing that. He's shaking, like his legs are like really weak. They just keep like fidgeting, like awkward, like he's just gonna lose his feet from under him like any moment. And he just almost kind of cowers a little bit, like trying to trying to just keep him his self together, like period.
Misha's gonna walk up to him, grab his arm, and start tugging. Basically, start dragging him out with them.
Yes, you guys are in a crowd that is very tightly pressed together, by the way.
Yeah, Charles is having difficulty because he's not able to. Well, not so much not able to, but he just can't push anyone out of the way. So he's having to like time his moments to try and step through the gap and stuff like that. He's definitely moving a lot slower than the rest of the crowd, than the rest of you who are able to just shove their way through.
Nausicaa is going to actually do an effect.
How these work?
3 success on it.
Okay.
So basically, Nausicaa has an effect called Always Green, and she's invoking essentially luck magic, the Sphere of Entropy, to and she can is literally about like getting through crowds faster. So she'll just like walk, and she'll just find like the perfect way. Like people step out of her way at like as she walks at the last minute.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, she'll basically just have like, it means she can move through crowds if there's like no one there.
Oh, okay.
So that's what she's doing because she wants to get the hell out of here. And I guess like Misha and
sorry, I have a phone call coming from me from my sister. She's been up in the fires in the northern area, so I want to check on her. So just assume that thanks to your luck magic, Charles is getting blocked repeatedly along the way. I'll be back shortly.
That's fine. Yeah, if she's doing, yeah, if basically if Nausicaa's kind of got some fantastic way through, Misha's not against using that. And if Caldwell is still letting Misha kind of drag him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it just appears like there's not like people aren't being moved out of the way. Nausicaa just happens to be walking in like kind of like just the perfect direction, and people just step out of her way. And yeah, people just happen to move out of her way as she kind of like just walks through the crowd.
All right, those of you with chimerical sight, go ahead and roll me perception kenning.
Oh, good.
Had the wrong character shoot up. Okay.
I'm having issues because I have to keep going back and forth between both of my blue books right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to find my kenning. Okay.
Is this to detect what Nausicaa did?
Nope.
Oh, okay. No worries.
I got one. Well, no, actually, if it's +2 diff, then I'd have nothing.
Okay.
Wait, you said kenning, right?
Yep.
I think I'm missing a whole stat block.
Yeah, no, that was the case with some people. Let me look up your thing real quick.
Okie dokie.
It is all kinds of fun.
Yeah, I've been having to fix character sheets that are for some reason hiding shit. So glad I saved this bookmark.
I still say I hate code.
Ditto.
All right.
Hate code? Don't know how you say that.
Okay. Your kenning is 2.
Okay. Would the discerning specialty for perception come into play?
Sure.
Sweet. I think I'm at diff 8, so just 1 success.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So, Caldwell. Actually, Alice, I need one from you as well.
All right, making the roll. I see nothing as usual.
The lights are blinding.
Are the stars blind?
Are the what?
Just made a terrible joke. Don't even keep going.
Okay. So anyways, as you guys are trying to make your way through the crowds, Caldwell, it is you who notices that there is something wrong. There are people kind of, the best you can describe it is tainted glamour. As people are starting to sort of like make a kind of clicking sound.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an effect that's moving through the back of the pit as you guys move towards it, like a snake. So it'll start at like the far end near like the exit. You hear the like, and then the next person, and the next person, and it moves slowly and serpentine through the crowd.
Yeah. With Misha, I'm assuming having grabbed him, he will take his hand and put it on hers, and kind of like grip with enough force to kind of get her to like look at him. And he will, if she does, he'll pull her into him and whispers, like he just says, do you see that? Do you see it? Do you feel it? It feels tainted, like almost like a clicking noise.
She's immediately like on guard, and she's just like, where?
And now everybody in the audience can roll perception alertness now that it's been brought to your attention.
Hey, I would have had one.
We said alertness. Okay, that's under the same vein as.
Oh, alertness. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So he pointed exactly where she was.
Yeah.
Where it was at. So do I get to like, can I have that 7?
Yeah, you can have. Yeah, I'll give it to you as a reduced difficulty since it's being pointed directly at you.
Yay!
You notice the clicking, and you notice like the back column of people have already started clicking, and like the second to last column or row of people is now starting to get that sort of like sort of thing.
What?
Yeah. She's staring at this like, what the hell is that? Like she says that out loudly enough that like anybody who's around her would hear.
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard or seen anything like that. I don't know.
It seems to take on at most about 10 people at a time. So it takes over the back row, which is about 10 because it's it's like a circular pit. So the very back is smaller people, but as it like serpentines up its way, you hear like the clicking kind of become harder to hear as it slowly serpentines its way out away from you.
Nausicaa literally just pulls out maybe like a foot-long piece of metal, which is her wand, and looks around at this insanely weird, almost horror show-esque thing, and is kind of holding it in front of her like one may a kind of fencing sword.
Misha's just kind of looking down because she does have her chimerical gun on her as usual. And she has her knife, also chimerical, so.
Alice. The clicking eventually makes it to the front row of people who are pressed up against your stage as tightly as they can. Everyone else has the outside audience remains unaffected. The people in the pit are like a little confused and looking a little like woozy as this thing passes through them, through their minds. But the front row of your audience, the people that are right up against the stage, are clicking furiously.
And she doesn't see anything physically there, just the people?
She didn't pick up on the perception, Kenny, but you can roll again now that they have moved directly in front of you.
All right. Give me a roll. And 6888.
Okay.
68855. There you go.
All right, cool. Yeah, you notice it. It is dark. Dark. Glamour. Glamour you are familiar with as belonging to Nervosa. That is sweeping into these people's minds. It is fluid. It can take of. It is a Nervosa that is taking refuge in a human shell. Well, several human shells at the moment.
Can she? Would you allow Purify to burn out Dark Glamour?
Yes, I would.
Well, affecting the whole place is going to take scene 4. I am going to blow through all my glamour at this. Glamour, and I'm spin the dross.
Okay.
And making the roll. Since I'm targeting Dark Glamour, would I be... and this is the question. Am I targeting the people or am I targeting the glamour itself? That'll determine my dice pool.
Let's see. Well, if you want to cure the people of this Nervosa, it'll have to be actor. If you're just trying to push them out of the Nervosa itself out of the people and not obliterate it, then it's the Fae.
She is trying to push it out of the people.
Okay, but you do it will I'm telling you this for free because you fight Nervosa. If you push it out of these people, it's free to attack others.
Then I'll spend the. What would be the relationship to these people? Because I'll determine how much actor I need to buy with Dross.
Devoted fans who have pushed their way to be at the very front. They are all dressed in outfits inspired by your lesser known albums.
So that would that be? I don't know what level of actor that would be. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. Mm-hmm. Christy, did you want to say something?
I was going to, but I don't really think it would have been useful. It's fine.
Okay. It's fine. I need to open up the the realms.
I'm on page 233. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not as familiar with actor as I should be at this point.
No, that's fine. We'll say familiar face.
Familiar face? All right. Then I will be blowing 3 more dross. I am going to run out of dross at this rate. Let's see, because that was 10 earlier, so... all right. And I don't get the bonus dice from that. That just allows me to target, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Right. So that's 5d10 then. And here we go. What's my difficulty?
What are you gonna do for the cantrip?
I was gonna rely on the fact that I had like an entirely large audience in front of me as she was activating it. And I was going to... oh no, I got even better. While she's in the middle of her song, she is going to throw down the microphone to break it. If that doesn't count as jarring, I don't know what does.
Yeah, definitely. We're gonna say roll a diff 5.
Diff 5. Do I get the -1 break for actor being one of the Claricons?
Yeah.
Okay. So diff 4?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Fingers crossed. +1 again.
Oof.
Fail.
Jeez. Yeah. The magic just... all that effort. Nothing happens of the magic. The clicking intensifies, and the discordant sound of the microphone as it bangs against the floor, sending the the feedback through the speakers is almost deafening. Caldwell, this is the most aggressive noise you have ever heard as a Slua.
Oh
Roll
my goodness.
willpower to not like cover your ears and cringe and fall into a ball.
What's the diff?
We're going to put it at diff 8 because it is a loud stadium in which it will echo and bounce off of.
Okay. He got 1 success.
All right. It still sucks though.
Can I spend the dross to reroll to make a reroll because I've invoked the weird?
Yes.
Okay.
He will like basically like try to peel his face off with that screeching though.
Mm-hmm.
Just the utter sound of that just rise through them. Just he basically screams along with it slightly.
All right.
There we go. And I get to re-roll the 10 and add to it because of weird, right? Or is that only for other things?
Damn it! I just.
Whenever a dice turns up a 10, I get to re-roll it at the same difficulty as the initial roll. Okay.
Okay, then yeah, do that.
Sorry, I'm jumping down the
It's
books. Okay. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes.
Okay. After this feedback just washes through and in utter silence like sweeps over the crowd, chimerically oh, actually, since weird is invoked, everybody gets to see this. From Alice comes a fireball. Later people may say it's pyrotechnics, because it certainly has that sort of like feel to it, but it washes over that front row of clicking monsters. As the people sort of scream out in absolute shock as they are engulfed by this flame that isn't burning them, but this creature that has possessed them within their mind. As you see this fire burning, you see like this black, acrid smoke rising up. Those of you who are familiar with magic, and we will include the mage in this as well, realize that you are witnessing like the death of like an evil entity just sort of being decimated by Alice Amari in this stunned silence from the crowd. The only sound currently coming from that area is the sound of their screams as this evil is purged from their minds.
Misha watches the clusterfuck that is the sheet being broken again.
Yup. She's gonna be called in as witnesses, guys.
I wasn't there. I have no idea what you're talking about. She just looks to between Caldwell and Nausicaa, and she's just like, let's get out of here.
What the hell is happening? Nausicaa looks way more business than she has any other point tonight.
This isn't the time to talk about it. I don't exactly know what's happening here either, but I know part of it. Get out of here.
Okay. Scowls at her and scowls back at the obvious use of magic, and then kind of acquiesce and begin to leave.
Yeah, Caldo just pinches the bridge of his nose, just looks at like the black miasma kind of just dissipating and stuff, and just kind of thinks back to seeing Alice basically build a house instantly, and then kind of seeing this, like she just doesn't not stop surprising him, and just shakes his head and just turns around and follows Misha and Anna quietly. rubbing his temples as he leaves.
Oh, good lord.
Misha will actually send a text to Alice, though, just like it just all it says is "I hope you're okay." That's literally all it says. We can deal with responses later because that has to do with because like we're kind of far away from her right now, and there is the fire, and it's probably all crazy. So I'm guessing we probably have no idea what's really happening, other than that's pyretics.
Mm-hmm.
So she actually does send that to her, and keeps going. I'm sure she wouldn't get this until later anyway.
Well, if everybody else is like edging away from the madness, I guess the question is, Alice, the show must go on, or the show is over?
No, she's a performer. The show must go on.
All right. And it will. You can roll. The Nervosa have been purged. A new microphone is brought to you. The crowd slowly begins to recover from the of watching a fireball appear to consume audience members, but with no casualties or approaching ambulances. They seem to take a cautious moment and try to get back into it as they try to do that logic warp. Maybe that isn't what I thought I saw. As the show goes on, if you want to roll for the rest of the songs, you can, but without the player audience, I feel like this might be where the scene has to.
Oh no, this is a perfect ending point. We can just assume things go well. She's been rolling like a goddess when it comes to singing, at least.
Yes, those first couple of songs that you've done will definitely start seeing like radio play, pop radio play. That 5 success one that you did will be hailed as like the next Gangnam Style or Gangnam Style.
Nice.
Gangnam, fucking
Gangnam.
Gangnam Style.
Everybody get in your robots. No. All right. Anyway, so here's where we're going to end the scene. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. And we'll see you next time.